12:37 a.m., Typhoon Podul made its second landfall in the coastal city of Zhangzhou, Fujian Province, in southeastern China during the early hours of Thursday morning. According to meteorological data, Podul entered with sustained winds exceeding 100 km/h, approximately 62 mm, accompanied by heavy rainfall and violent sea waves. Although Podul had been downgraded from a strong typhoon to a severe tropical storm before reaching Fujian, the system still retained enough strength to disrupt daily life across a wide area in southern China. Chinese meteorological agencies confirmed that Podul initially weakened while passing over the South China Sea, but later regained strength upon entering the Taiwan Strait. The second landfall occurred in Zhangzhou at dawn on August 14th, when rising waves and heavy rain quickly spread inland. By midday, the storm began to weaken, gradually turning into a tropical depression. Even as the wind subsided, Podul carried a very large amount of moisture, keeping the risk of flooding high. Weather forecasters noted that Podul was part of a larger monsoon pattern this season, which had caused several consecutive heavy rainfall events in southern Chinese provinces. Accumulated rainfall in some areas of Fujian, Guangdong, and Guangxi was expected to exceed 150 mm, nearly 6 inches, within less than 24 hours, putting pressure on local drainage systems and river networks. Fujian, Guangdong, Guangxi, Hunan, and Guizhou provinces all reported varying degrees of impact. Coastal towns in Fujian saw low-lying streets submerged, and emergency rescue forces were deployed to reinforce levees and drainage systems. In Guangdong and Guangxi, authorities warned mountain communities about the risk of landslides, especially after several consecutive weeks of heavy rain. Inland provinces like Hunan and Guizhou also experienced widespread heavy rainfall, disrupting agriculture and threatening crops already weakened by previous storms. Rural residents were advised to secure livestock and avoid going to the fields until weather conditions improved. Podul also had a significant impact on transportation networks. Over 130 flights were canceled, including major airlines such as China Eastern Airlines, China Southern Airlines, and Air China. Passengers at airports in Fujian and Guangdong reported long delays and crowded terminals as airlines adjusted schedules. Rail services were also affected. Some high-speed rail sections in Fujian and neighboring provinces temporarily reduced operational speed to ensure safety and manage water on the tracks. Highway traffic slowed considerably, with authorities warning about dangerous driving conditions due to poor visibility and flooded roads. Local governments in Fujian and Hong Kong announced school closures in response to the heavy rainfall. This measure aimed to ensure student safety and reduce travel during hazardous weather conditions. Public events, including international conference and large meetings, were postponed or shifted online. Emergency shelters were opened in Fujian, Guangdong, and Guangxi to accommodate residents living in flooded areas. Local authorities also distributed bottled water, food supplies, and medical kits to prepare for possible prolonged disruptions. In Hong Kong, the Meteorological Service issued warnings for heavy rainfall and strong winds. Schools, offices, and public facilities were temporarily closed, while transport operators reported delays due to water accumulation on main roads and railways. The city's international airport implemented emergency procedures to handle flight cancellations and passenger congestion. Authorities warned that communities near hillsides and rivers were at highest risk, advising residents to stay indoors and avoid unnecessary travel. Public messages emphasized caution. Although the storm was weakening, the threat of landslides and flash floods remained high. By the end of Thursday, Podul had weakened into a tropical depression as it moved further inland in China. Meteorologists confirmed that wind speeds had decreased, but rainfall continued to increase. River systems in Fujian and Guangdong were close to maximum capacity, with officials closely monitoring water levels to prevent overflow. Local disaster management teams emphasized that significant danger often arises after strong winds have passed. When heavy rain persists and the ground is saturated, the risk of secondary disasters such as landslides rises, especially in Hunan and Guizhou. Riverside villages prepared sandbags and temporary barriers to mitigate flooding. The Chinese government urged provincial leaders to maintain a high state of readiness until the storm system fully dissipated. Emergency response units were deployed to vulnerable areas, and the Ministry of Transport advised the public to avoid unnecessary travel until weather conditions stabilized. Meteorological agencies reminded residents that Podul served as an important warning about preparedness during the Pacific typhoon season and advised closely monitoring forecasts, as additional storms could appear in the coming weeks. The second landfall of Typhoon Podul in Zhangzhou, Fujian, brought strong winds, heavy rain, and significant disruption across southern China. Although the storm has now weakened into a tropical depression, its lingering effects remain, including the risk of flooding, transportation disruption, and school closures. Fujian, Guangdong, Guangxi, Hunan, and Guizhou provinces remain on high alert as local authorities address the aftermath. With over 130 flights canceled, numerous schools closed, and emergency shelters established, Podul's impact has extended across both coastal and inland areas. Authorities emphasize that while the direct wind threat has diminished, the dangers of flooding and landslides remain high, and residents are advised to stay vigilant, follow guidance, and prioritize safety until conditions fully improve. According to the Zhejiang Provincial Meteorological Department, Typhoon Danis made landfall at 11:45 p.m. local time, with wind speeds reaching up to 20 meters per second. Prior to this, Danis first struck Taiwan on the morning of July 7, 2025. It then made a second landfall in Dongtou District, Wenzhou City, in Zhejiang Province at 9:25 p.m. on July 8th. Although Danis did not directly impact the weather in Thailand or Vietnam, it is expected that the remnants of the storm will intensify the southwest monsoon, causing heavy rainfall and turbulent seas. The National Center for Hydrometeorological Forecasting has warned that due to the influence of a low-pressure trough over the northern Vietnam region, combined with the active low-pressure system, areas in the northern mountainous regions will experience heavy rain between 30 to 70 millimeters, with some places expecting 180 mm or more. There is a risk of intense rainfall exceeding 100 millimeters within just 3 hours. From July 10th, the rain is expected to spread throughout the entire northern region, with 70-inch thunder and 150 millimeters of rain expected in many areas, and some areas possibly seeing over 300 millimeters. There is a significant risk of extreme rainfall in a short period, potentially reaching over 150 millimeters in 3 hours. For visitors traveling to the northern provinces of Vietnam, particularly in the next few days, it is crucial to keep an eye on weather forecasts and limit travel in mountainous and hilly areas, which have a high risk of flash floods and landslides. During heavy rains, Avoid outdoor activities such as trekking, mountain climbing, exploring caves, or staying near rivers, streams, and gorges. Tourists should also be prepared with raincoats, non-slip shoes, and flexible schedules to ensure safety. Typhoon Danis brought substantial rainfall to many provinces in eastern China on July 9, 2025, severely impacting daily life and industrial activities, especially in key economic regions with high-tech industrial zones. This is one of the most extreme weather phenomena in China since the beginning of the 2025 monsoon season. In response, local authorities have issued flood warnings, suspended school classes, and temporarily halted water transport services. In Zhangzhou City, schools were closed on July 9th, and emergency response teams were mobilized to deal with the risks posed by flooding and long-duration heavy rainfall. Several coastal cities, including Fuzhou and Xiamen, are monitoring water levels closely, while measures to prevent flooding have been put in place. Passenger ferry services in the region have been suspended to ensure safety. After making landfall in southern Taiwan on July 6th, Danis weakened into a tropical depression. However, its remnants continue to cause heavy rain in Zhejiang, Fujian, and are moving further inland toward Jiangxi and Guangdong provinces. Some areas have already recorded rainfall of up to 300 mm. Despite weakening, Typhoon Danis, previously storm number 2 in the South China Sea, remains dangerous due to its slow movement, with speeds around 15 to 20 km/h, prolonging the rainfall and increasing the likelihood of flooding in areas with poor drainage infrastructure, especially inland provinces. It is forecast that the heavy rain will continue until at least July 15. Meanwhile, the inland provinces of Anhui, Hubei, and Hunan are experiencing extended heat waves, with temperatures hovering around 35 degrees due to the influence of a subtropical high-pressure system. In recent years, China has witnessed increasing signs of climate change, with more frequent storms, heavy rainfall, and extreme heat. These trends pose a significant challenge to disaster management, particularly in rapidly urbanizing regions where infrastructure is struggling to keep pace. As a result, local governments are strengthening their response plans to ensure the safety of citizens and minimize damage to China's economy. After devastating Taiwan, Typhoon Danis made 2 landfalls in Zhejiang province, eastern China. The first occurred at 9:25 a.m. in Zhangzhou City, with the strongest winds near the storm center reaching level 9. The second landfall occurred in Shuyin City at 11:45 p.m., with wind speeds slightly reduced. According to China's meteorological agency, Danis will continue to move inland, bringing heavy rain to provinces such as Jiangxi, Hunan, and Guangdong. Yu Kun, a meteorological expert, stated that after landfall, the storm would move westward, weakening further. However, the low-pressure system left behind could persist in central China for over 3 days, gradually weakening before dissipating in northern Vietnam. history, a similar storm occurred in 2006 with Typhoon Podul, which maintained its strength after making landfall, causing continuous heavy rainfall in southern China. Due to the impact of Danis, regions in eastern and southern China are expected to experience heavy rainfall in the coming days. According to the National Meteorological Center of China, some areas in Fujian and Guangdong have already recorded rainfall totals of 300 millimeters.
We sincerely thank you for taking the time to follow our report. Nature always holds both majestic beauty and the relentless challenges, and sharing information in a timely manner helps us better understand and prepare for every change. We hope you will continue to stay attentive, share, and join us in our upcoming programs. We wish you and your family peace, health, and safety in the face of any transformation of the climate and nature. We will meet you again in our next report.